The victim needed titanium steel plates to repair his face.
Where them chicks at? Where them hands? Where them holes? Where them throws? You know what I'm saying?
All right, this is from attorney Andrew Broncos. He's got the Law of Self-Defense book, podcast, and all types of media products on self-defense law. He's the attorney. I'm not. I am a part-time martial arts instructor, full-time software tester. But I wanted to bring this up because in this case of State versus Idaho that took place in, no, I'm sorry. See, that's why I'm not an attorney. State versus Iverson, the state of Idaho versus Iverson, that took place in 2014. A man's Taekwondo background was used against him in court, pretty much because he started it and because the prosecutor felt like his training made him deadly and he should have known better than to punch someone how he did. So first we're going to use my amateur, what I wrote down as a summary, just so I don't have to read the whole entire PDF of the case of the public opinion. All right. The defendant had a black belt in Taekwondo. Therefore, the prosecutor said he has special knowledge. The victim, after the victim got hit in the face, the victim needed titanium steel plates to repair his face. The victim and his friend, the victim was the ex-boyfriend of the defendant's girlfriend, and the victim's friend was somebody who came up there to help the guy who turns out to be the victim. Okay. The defendant, let's see. So basically what happened, I got it down here, okay. The defendant was convicted, and the conviction was upheld on appeal because the defendant had went outside with the victim to initiate the confrontation with the victim and the victim's friend. Because what had happened was the girlfriend had called the victim on the defendant because she said the defendant was abusing her. And the victim and his friend came up there, you know, two guys hey, we're going to flex, or we're going to at least have a nice word or talking to with this guy who knew Taekwondo. So she called her ex-boyfriend saying the current boyfriend was hurting her. They came up there, they get into an altercation. The victim's friend makes a move towards the defendant. The defendant, one punch, one of these, hits the victim. The victim needs titanium steel plates to help repair his face. Okay. Now, part of how this had escalated is because when this was the only part of the fault of the victim, in addition to coming up there with his buddy. Let me see if I can find telephone. Yes. Oh no, it's probably not on the telephone. It's probably on the cell phone. But what happens when they were arguing? The victim smacked the defendant's phone out of his hand. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut away from here so you can see, you people on the internet, some of you guys are going to be doubters and trolls, you're going to see that I'm not making this up. Taekwondo can be seen as something that's seriously deadly because it actually is deadly. And if you misuse it, you're going to jail. Let's highlight the word Taekwondo. Let's see. Let's get the first instance of the word Taekwondo. During her closing arguments, the prosecutor made the following statements. Now, I'm not a doctor and I don't have medical training, and I don't know if any of you do, so I don't know exactly what we're talking about. But I knew, though, that we're talking about numerous fractures. We're talking about some serious bodily harm. I would submit to you that that is excessive force. And I would also submit to you that Mr. Iverson, given the kind of training he had as a black belt in Taekwondo, understood that this is the sort of thing that's going to result from the blow that he landed. He acknowledged that he's been doing this for a long time. Let's get the next one. Iverson's arguments fails because the prosecutor's statement was a permissible inference from the evidence presented at trial. Specifically, Iverson testified that he was a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo and had been trained in proper technique and control, which he didn't show. I'm saying that. That's me saying he didn't show. In regard to, quote, how to properly punch someone, quote. Based on this training, it was reasonable for the prosecutor to infer and argue to the jury that Iverson knew the potential seriousness of the injuries he could inflict on Daryl with a punch to the face. Cue pop culture clip. The prosecutor's statement did not amount to misconduct. So, Daryl was the name of the man who was punched. Let's get the name of the Taekwondoan. Joseph Thomas Iverson was the Taekwondoan. And this was filed January 6, 2014. Okay? So the moral of the story is that Taekwondo is very deadly. It can be construed as deadly force. It's not some joke art. And if you misuse it, the law is going to come down on you.